welcome to the best of everything. My name is Ruben Paul, and across from me is my brother from another mother, the Mexican
cricket,
the
brown cricket
from Central California,
San Joaquin Valley representing.
born and raised in L.A.
Oh yeah, born and raised in L.A.
And this, ladies and gentlemen, is my partner in crime, Mr. Johnny Sanchez.
What's up, man? What's up, bro?
We said hi already.
Oh, okay.
Why do we got?
That's
We don't
right.
have to
Yeah,
fake it in
yeah,
front
yeah.
of the camera.
Okay.
This is real, man.
Yeah, you're right.
The
You're
show
right,
is
you're right.
real. Nothing staged.
We never do that?
No
Okay.
Well, I mean, we could do.
Yeah,
We could
okay,
do
what's
that.
it, what's
It's our first show.
This is our maiden voyage, dude. Come on.
This is our main show, and the name of the show is called "The Best of Everything." Well, we will literally discuss what the title says. We're going to talk about the best of everything, whether it be sports, politics, music, comedy,
murders. Like the best ones that people have gotten away with or something like that.
The best murders.
I mean, could be. I'm just saying. It's going to be everything.
All right. So we're going to talk about everything. And the cool thing about it is we want it to be inspirational. There's some things that'll be funny, informative, educational, all of the above, like real life. We're just going to be talking about real life shit on the show, take you on our journey. Me and Johnny have both been doing comedy for a long time, over 20 years in the game.
Over 20 years in the game.
We're still here.
Yeah.
We're still relevant.
Still grinding.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
You already know what it is. And Johnny's, honestly, when I thought of doing a podcast, we have a lot of friends in this business, but me and Johnny have been friends for a long time and been through the ups and downs of our careers and have always supported each other.
Mm-hmm.
I think Johnny's a great comic. I wouldn't be doing a show with him if I didn't have respect for what he does. But he's a great dude, and he's been through a lot, and we're going to share some things that we've gone through in our journey. And we're going to tell you the best of everything, but sometimes to get to the best, you have to go through the worst. So, but we're going to have fun, man. We're going to have a good time.
Yeah. And Ruben, same thing for me. And it's not like we're comics that just, we're not comic friends that just hang out at the comedy club. Ruben and I talk all the time, and I've had nothing but respect for Ruben all these years. And we've done man, how many shows do you think we've done together?
We've done too many shows together.
How many shows have we done?
We've done a lot of shitty shows together.
We've done so many shows that we've done the shit shows, but we've done so many shows together that we actually, it's even when we work together in town, we've got this piggyback thing that we do. So if I'm on before Ruben, I'll end on something knowing that he's going to walk right up
and come in right after.
And boom, he's going to hit it. He does the same thing to me, ends on a Mexican joke. A Mexican bit at the end.
Not all the time.
Not all the time, but
I'm
saying, well, listen, we're not.
But you know what I love to do is
when
when I know you're not in the room, I know you think I'm gonna leave something.
That's
for
happened
you
before
to attack, and I don't even bring it up.
Yeah.
Then he was like, "Man, I know Ruben was talking about," and they're like, "What? He didn't do that joke."
But that happened to you. No, and that happened one time. You said something. Go, you know what, man? Johnny doing all that black shit, and then everybody there was like blank faces, and you're like, wait, he did that black material tonight, right? And I was in the back going, Ruben.
Well, that's only because you got me back.
Yeah.
But the great thing
you
about
did
doing
it first, the
only great thing about, not the only great thing, but one great thing about doing shows with Johnny is the most picky guy you ever want to do a show with. Like you,
What do you mean, like
I'll
on technical stuff, or
like me? I'm the type of, somebody invites me to a gig, I just show up and do the gig.
Yeah,
and don't get me wrong. Through learning from you, I do like, hey, might make suggestions about lighting and the mic and this and that. But Johnny has to be at the show early.
Get there early. Check out the lighting. Check out the sound.
And this will be like a bar gig.
Hey man, let me tell you.
Johnny, sometimes it's a gig. Like it's only like a $100 gig. You're doing at a thing, and you're gonna show up and start to go,
that over there. And
can we move? The stage should be over there. Actually,
hey,
like, dude, it's a bar. We're at Tortillas. Like, why are we?
Okay, those I didn't do.
No, yes, you did. Even at those places, you'd come in and complain. It's like we're doing comedy inside of a Chili's, and then Johnny is like, "Hey,
should be right over." You guys ever thought about? I recommended that to the LA Comedy Club back when they were at Bally's. In Vegas.
Oh, in Vegas.
Because they had it in the middle.
Who books that? That's Matt and Joaquin.
Right.
Shout out Matt and Joaquin.
Yeah. What's up, man? And but they were. I'm not saying they did it because of me, but their stage was in the middle, and people were looking out that window all the skyline of Vegas. And I remember going, why don't they put it, if you guys put that stage on this other side, nobody's looking out the window. Guess what they did? Guess what they did, everybody?
What? They listened to
you?
They
moved it on the other side, and the shows were better. The other comics told me that it was way better because the focus.
Right, okay.
I will look at things and I'll go. By the way, all you comics out there, if any of you are listening, and then you're just like, yeah, I've worked with Johnny and Rogue. You're welcome. Because I'm the one that made the show go better.
That is true. It's annoying though if you're the promoter or the guy putting on the show. I would think that'd be annoying. But at the end of the day,
it's annoying that a professional comic that's got years on this promoter is giving advice.
No, I agree with you. Didn't I just say that I like it when you're on shows? I said it's one of the good things about doing shows with you is that you're anal and nitpicky about how everything is set up. Where I'm just like a go with the flow type of guy. That's me.
Yeah, you're that those comics. Just drop me off, man. Just drop me off wherever, and I'll do my show.
Do my thing, man.
I'm like,
you can put a blindfold on me and
just drop me off out of a chopper. Wherever I land in my parachute, I'll just start doing stand-up right there. Hey, man, the Amazon jungle. I'll do it right. All right.
Not bragging.
By the way, here's the other thing too, and just real quick, one more. You brought this up.
Okay.
All the tours I've ever done.
Yeah.
None of the comics want to go do a sound check or a lighting.
I'm not a big fan of sound check.
And I go down there, and this is on behalf of I'm going down there. Nobody else is going down there. I go, oh, wait a minute. And then I can see, what are these, why do you guys have colored lights on us? Oh, you guys don't want, no, man, we want the hot white spot, and the mic needs to be, and then guess what? We would have had, one guy was doing fog machine, and I go, we don't need it, we got to see us.
Can I ask you a question? How did you become so technical? Like, were you like those gay dudes in the theater in high school? Like, is that what you did? Like, how did you become like this production?
I didn't do theater.
Dude.
You did theater.
Yeah, I did theater. No. I didn't do theater in high school. I did theater.
Yes. Ruben did theater.
See, that's why I didn't do theater.
Sports, man. I was busy playing sports.
What sports did you play? Hopscotch, motherfucker? You didn't play no sports.
Oh, I just did some hopscotch the other day, though.
You seem like you would do it. But the point is, I'm just saying where that, because you were. Like you were druggy in high school, so I don't understand.
I was an athlete. Now listen, here's the thing.
You weren't an athlete in high school, dude?
I did sports all through high school. I started in junior high with I started boxing at 8.
Yeah, that's not high school.
Oh yeah. All right.
You did that when you were
yeah.
By the time you got to high school, you were drinking and smoking, man.
No, that can't. Listen, that stuff was towards the end.
Johnny is still afraid of his father.
I mean,
you see, he didn't even say no. If my father was still alive, I'd probably be still afraid of my father. Yeah,
dude,
my dad was.
What did your dad have under the bed?
He had a machete.
My
father is Haitian, 100% Haitian. My mom is 100% Haitian. My father didn't play. He would show up to a gunfight with the machete. if he was like, that's how much, that's why that movie Machete came out. I just laughed. I was like, dude.
You should have done a quick little spoof as your dad, a Haitian machete.
Yeah.
That would have been, or how is it?
Right.
But listen,
you messed it up.
By the way, real quick, to answer that, it was the years of doing, showing up for gigs and, corporate events, tours, and then there was always things going wrong that drove me crazy and affected the show. That's to answer that question.
Yeah,
that's why I'm like that to this day.
Well, I'm like that with corporate gigs. You know what I mean? If it's a big gig and you want to get, but you do it at these small little shows. But anyway, that gives you an insight of who Johnny is. And me and Johnny, we met doing stand-up years ago.
Dude, we cannot remember. I don't think we can remember. We crisscrossed first or something.
And then I think sometimes in this business, people so long, and in life, you just feel like, damn, we've always been friends. Like there wasn't like that, for me, that significant moment where I go, wow, when did we become buddies? I know there was a comic on stage, and he was doing a horrible act, and then me and you locked eyes, and it was like, I know that sounded gay, but we like, it was like we just locked eyes. Like, we locked eyes and like, this is some bullshit.
Was this the one? No, you didn't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a comic on stage, and he was doing these jokes, and he was killing.
Making it sound like it was his life.
But like, if you knew him, it was obvious he was lying. So we were watching him, and I was like, no, you didn't. Like,
but
none of that happened.
But we looked at each other.
We looked at each other, and you're like, no, you didn't. So we should actually do a segment on future shows called No, You Didn't. Because there's a lot of people who lie and make up stories and try to make them.
Do we pick current comics or do we pick comics from the past?
We got to think about that.
We'll think about that.
Think about and also, I mean, the show is about me and you. It's best of everything. But I also want to introduce Renee, and who helped us put this together, and he'll chime in from time to time. And then also there's this other little guy named Chris that will probably pop in from time to time.
You could just say, you know what, we prefer short.
Short?
We don't like little and small.
Okay.
Am I right? Yeah. Just short. Because you know what? He's not little. You know who, you know what little is? Little is somebody who's short, but they have like no shoulder. You ever see these guys?
They have no shoulders.
Like
is that
like almost no. Like they weigh like $120, $125, and they're 5'6", 5'7". Those guys are small.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, because they're short, but they're tiny.
But I don't relate to that world because I'm in normal people world. Like I'm in a regular. Me and Renee are in a regular world with regular sized people. Yeah. We don't live in Fraggle Rock or
Frodo Land.
Frodo Land. What was the movie? The Shire. What? Lord of the Rings.
The Hobbit.
Dude, you would have been great in Lord of the Rings.
You know what?
Seriously, I'm all bullshit aside, dude.
You know who was in?
You would have killed that.
You know what's his name?
But there were no Mexicans in Lord of the Rings. Wouldn't that have been dope? You'd have been a Mexican hobbit.
I mean, I guess. I mean, I'll take the gig, but you know what? Who was the main guy?
Can you imagine Johnny as a Mexican hobbit? Oh, with your little.
That would have been funny.
No, fuck that, man. Who got the ring?
Wait a minute.
What?
I just got an idea. We got green screen here. One of these days, I'm going to just do a scene from Lord of the Rings.
You should.
As the only Mexican hobbit. I'll just come walking in. We'll make it look like I come walking into the scene going, hey,
why is your Mexican always an immigrant who barely speaks English?
Immigrant came out, but I was not going for that. I was going to do this guy. Hey, what's up?
What's the ring?
Yeah.
He could have been a good golem.
Well.
My pinchy precious? Ay, my pinchy precious.
Ay, my precious.
No, my pinchy precious. That would have been good. We got to do that scene. We got to do it one of these days.
We'll do it. We will do it. So we're excited to do the show, man. We're moving into a new format. It seems like every damn comic has a podcast, and I think it's great. So why not us?
Yeah.
And I think we can add something a little different with our experience, our journey, the things that we've done, the people that we worked through, the things we've been through. But everything is not about comedy; it's about real life.
We're gonna do
things
we're
too.
Gonna touch on everything.
We'll talk
and
about.
Some of them are gonna get. Some stuff's gonna get heavy, and you know, like we talk like we talk on the phone. We get Ruben and I get deep, man, and
because let me tell you something, like whether it's entertainment industry. You work a regular 9-to-5 job, if you're a professional, if you're a blue collar, hard labor, whatever, we're all on this journey and trying to find ways to improve our lives, and everybody just wants to be happy. And sometimes I was having a conversation with somebody last night, and it's like a lot of times through tragedy comes good things happen after.
Unfortunately,
and nobody ever wants to go through the bad to get to the good. And I heard Will Smith say something that always stuck with me because I've been through a lot of tragedy is the best things in life are on the other side of pain.
That's good.
You know, even in weightlifting, no pain, no gain, and losing weight or whatever you're trying to do, you got to go through discomfort. Even of being a good comic, you got to go through bombing. You know, I'm not like that's like when some people say, "Oh, I've never bombed in my life." It goes, "Well, you probably never taken any chances." You know, you've already played safe.
The materials too safe, or you're doing rooms that are easy.
Yeah. And I haven't always been that type of comic, early on, I think I was more of a crowd pleaser, trying to please the crowd and everything. And not saying that that's not a part of who I am innately, but like as you develop and as you grow as a comic, you want to talk about something. You want to have a point to what you're saying. And all the great comics, the comics that I like, seem to have something to say. And
of course.
We're more than just funny. We're not clowns, even though we do clown around. But I think we'll be able to. You guys will learn a lot, I think. About.
And I'm way more physical.
Oh yeah,
I was all
really
physical. I was all over the place.
Now let me ask you this, and this I don't mean this to be insulting. I'm just curious because I had this. I can't remember. I had it with another comic who was really physical. Do you think you became less physical because your subject matter changed? Or did you become less physical because you were older and didn't feel like bending down and hopping around and doing shit like that? A comic literally told me that. He was like, dude, I'm too old to do that shit.
Well,
and I just started laughing. I go, you know what? I never thought about that. You know what I mean?
It's funny because literally it's almost a combo of those three. But I remember one time I was new at the Comedy Store, which is my early pickup as a regular. And AJ Jamal, we love AJ Jamal.
If you've never seen AJ Jamal,
get on YouTube and pull up AJ Jamal.
Funny, so clean.
Clean comic,
hilarious, and used to murder.
Yeah,
used to murder. Shout out AJ Jamal, man.
AJ Jamal, man, and he said to me one time at the Comedy Store because I was just doing, I was just physical, and then
Johnny would be physical for no reason sometimes.
Yeah, it was unnecessary.
It's what's this?
But it was weird. It was like when I started, I told myself I was like, I want to be a comic that brings great energy. So that's kind of how I started, even as an open micer. I had a lot of energy, and once I started getting better. But one time AJ Jamal goes, hey man, let me tell you, how old are you? And I told him my age, 20 something, and he's like, yeah. Now you realize you ain't gonna be able to keep up that stuff later on, right?
He told you that?
Yeah. He goes, I should do handstands and stuff. I ain't doing that no more.
Why'd you give him a lisp? He does not talk.
Slight lisp. Yeah. AJ Jamal has a slight lisp.
No, he doesn't.
It's just a slight lisp.
AJ Jamal, if you are watching this, send me a message and. Well, like he's going to admit to having a lisp. He probably I thought done this. I thought he said I have this.
It's just a slight.
I thought he say that. He doesn't have a list.
Very.
He does not have a.
Very
I said
slight.
He doesn't have a list.
Yeah, that's
lisp.
funny.
Yeah.
So he said, which he was right. As I got a little older, but here was the moment where I recorded recorded myself at the Ice House. And I was already 10, 12, 30 years in or something. And I had a kill set, dude. I did the DVD and I did it and a CD at the same time. Okay. So.
Oh, that's smart.
So the guy was like, well, we're here. Let's just record. Now you have a CD and you have a DVD. Mm-hmm. Okay. I remember watching the DVD after it was done, and I was like, "Oh man, I killed it! Man, I was killing it! I had loved it, dude."
Yeah.
Then one day I was driving to a gig, and it was a corporate event, and I thought to myself, "Well, what stuff can I pull out of that and that can get away because corporate's different, Yeah. So I start listening to that taping, and I'm driving, and I'm like,
what's happening?
What am I doing now?
Yeah, everybody's laughing, but you have no idea.
How is somebody supposed to listen to me who's never seen me? Granted, you're going to usually buy them after the show.
Yeah.
But that was it, dude. And at that point, I go, all right, I got to pull back on the physical.
And start writing.
And the stories have to be, and then I,
detailed.
Not even kidding, immediately went back, because it had been a while, went back to listening to Richard Pryor. Mm-hmm. And because Richard used to do physical stuff, but he painted
the picture.
You knew what was going on.
Even if you couldn't see him, you knew exactly what was going on.
So I went back to listen to it. I go, I know what I got to do. And then that's when I started, which was 2005.
Well,
I started pulling back on the physical.
Interesting.
Literally that year.
So I know for me, like you said, when you first started, you wanted to bring energy. Mm-hmm. When I first started, it was more about imagination. Like I wanted to be like creative.
Yeah.
So I'd make up bits, and it wasn't like to the audience I was saying it was real. It was like, wouldn't it be funny if like wouldn't it be crazy if So I had a lot of jokes like that.
Could you imagine?
Yeah, could you imagine if blah, 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 blah. So I would do those type of bits and just try to be creative as possible.
I'm with you on that.
But I always wanted to be a combination of a good writer and a good performer.
Me too.
Because those are the ones that I like. And I always have liked act outs. Now, some people don't like act outs. Some people think that they're, but
a lot
to
of that,
me,
but a lot of that came after the alternative movement.
oh, the criticism of that?
Yeah, the criticism came in around 2000 when the alt scene really hit, started coming around. That's when we started hearing these other guys and he does act outs, huh? I just stand there.
Well, for me, it was just
everything.
like,
dude, there's been one. Look at Bob Hope and those guys.
Yeah.
They were one-liners.
for me, it was more like I wanted to say it and then show it.
Yeah.
Just
What's
to
wrong
get
with
that,
it?
To get that double edge.
Because you were a Pryor fan, and it emerged.
Because sometimes you'll say something, and sometimes you'll say something and get the laugh, and then some people don't get the laugh.
Yep.
But then when you do the physical act out, you get the laugh on both ends. Because some people some people get the physical act out and not the actual punchline.
Right.
So now what you've
It's a
done
little
is
combo.
you've doubled up on it.
Yeah.
So the people who might not be that bright will laugh at that part, and then the people who get it immediately will laugh at that part, and then even the people who get the written part will actually laugh at the physical, and that kind of gives it a pop.
See,
gives it a bit of pop.
It gives it the pop. Now,
For me.
some other critical comic would then go, "Oh, so you were playing it safe." So you really weren't willing to take, but it's not. It was about. I was sort of the same. My thing again was more energy, but I loved all that I kind of missed the early years, because we weren't structured yet, and I wasn't doing a lot of personal stuff in the beginning.
Yeah.
It was all observational or. What
Very
if,
observational.
What
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
How about if these two met and whatever?
It took me a while to, and let me say, I love observational comedy.
Me too.
I love physical comedy. I love goofy comedy. I mean, I love all types of comedy. But the real people who are like autobiographical on stage and really honest about their journey and those experiences, those are the comics that I tend to be attracted
gravitate towards
to the most, and that's what I really. But I do enjoy all types of comedy, and that's the type of comic that, as I was developing, like for me, it came to a point where it was like, okay, you're funny, you're making people laugh, but and what? And what?
Who are you?
Who are you?
Yeah.
Who are you?
Yeah,
and then those are the notes that I started getting. Like, damn, you're funny, but your act isn't about anything. Yeah. And there's a lot of.
I heard that early on too. By the way,
there's a lot of successful comics, and it's hard because when you see people who are getting paid, and who are doing really well, and their act isn't about anything, and then the industry person tells you your act isn't about anything, you're like, well, his act ain't about shit, but it's to each his own, I guess, as to whoever they choose. And then it went from that to this, like, all right, I should be talking about these things because I have gone through some shit. And then there's a lot of things people didn't know about me. Nobody knew I was Haitian when I first started out because I started doing comedy in L.A. and there's no Haitians in L.A. So when I first started doing comedy, I was like, man, I'm going to talk about being Haitian. Ain't nobody talking about being Haitian. There ain't no Haitian comedians in California. I'm going to kill this shit with my Haitian stuff. And nobody knew what Haitians were at all.
Nothing
and it just bombed. They're like, what the fuck is Haitian?
And you probably didn't.
You from Tahiti, nigga? Like, what? I'm like, no, my
That's
family's
right. They used to
from.
think you were-
They used to think Haiti was Tahiti. And it wasn't until honestly, the earthquake that really polarized the nation, where people really researched Haiti and knew about Haiti and understood.
Pardon the pun, but it put them on the map. I mean, you know what I mean? Because that happened, and then it was like everybody went, "Oh,
yeah," because it's a small
who's
little
over
country.
there? Yeah.
It's a small little country that had been ignored, and especially in California. Obviously, in Miami, Boston,
connection
New
over
York, people are familiar with Haitians and the Haitian culture. But I grew up in California, so for me,
in Southern California, in Los Angeles,
in LA, to be specific, like I didn't even grow up around Jamaicans, Africans, nothing. It was just African Americans. So, but everybody knows what Jamaicans are. They know about Jamaica. Everybody knows what Africans are. They're familiar with African culture. So even that's why comedically it's easy to kill doing an African accent or a Jamaican accent because it resonates. It's familiar to everybody.
Yeah.
I was doing something that wasn't familiar to anybody. Nobody knew what a Haitian accent was.
Right.
No one knew the type of foods that we ate. You know, when you think of, you know, Jamaicans, you think of weed, you think of dreads, you think of, you
Voodoo.
know. No, not with Jamaicans. That's
Oh,
what,
Jamaicans. I thought you said, hey, I thought you were on Haitian. Oh, that's right. Yeah,
Really?
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Why'd you get so
No.
excited to say voodoo? Like,
Because
that's the thing. Let me say
listen,
this.
there's some
And
Mexicans
anybody
that
who knows
do that. Mexicans do the chicken thing and stuff, too. They
What you
got
guys
their
call
vo-
it? Santeria.
Santeria. I think it's or
Santeria.
Is that the Cubans and Dominicans, or is that Mexicans as well? Cubans.
Mexicans have like the curanderos.
See, it's different.
Why don't you pronounce that? Say it. Say it like
Say
he
it
said
again.
it.
Say it again.
No. You're Mexican. Say it like he said it.
Cucurendos. Cucurendos. I got it.
Curanderos.
Oh, curanderos.
You're the worst Mexican ever.
Curanderos. Isn't that it?
One thing I love
Curanderos.
about Johnny, and one thing about this show is we're also non-stereotypical too. I think that's a cool. I think that's a cool thing.
Hey, listen, I wanted to call this the Oreo and the coconut, but Ruben didn't want to do that.
Well, because the thing
I know,
is,
never mind. It's okay.
no.
It's okay.
Let me say this.
All
Let me
right.
say this.
All right.
Here's the difference. The definition of an Oreo is black on the outside, white on the inside.
Yeah.
I was never really around white people until I was an adult. I think the thing that when people can't figure out something about me is like, man, you grew up around white people. Like, no, motherfucker, my family's from Haiti.
Yeah.
So I didn't have a true African American experience.
Yeah.
Inside
the house.
Inside the house.
Outside the house.
Outside the
is
house, that
where-
was my total experience.
Yeah, 'cause you were
and that's what I
South
grabbed.
Central, right?
Yeah,
South Central?
No, Carson.
Carson, that's right.
Yeah,
Carson.
I grew up off 190th and Wilmington. That's where I grew up. All black neighborhood. So
Why don't you just either get a tattoo of it or put it on your license plate?
What?
You're always saying that. 100. What is it again?
190th and Wilmington.
Yeah, I mean,
East Coast.
I'm not telling you.
East Coast, homeboy.
I'm not sitting there going, yeah, Tulare, California.
when I say
Vista
wait,
and Birch
let me-
Street. You know what I mean?
For you guys who don't understand when I say East Coast, they're like, well, he's in L.A. L.A.'s the West Coast. East side of Carson, cuz.
Oh.
That's what I'm talking about, homeboy.
You know what I'm talking about, cuh? You good?
Wait.
Cuh?
That's offensive.
What up, cuh?
That's offensive.
You're always doing Mexican accents, though.
Huh?
You're always doing. You do that a lot. When we're on the phone, sometimes, and I'll ask him a question, he goes, "See, see." I go, "Really, Ruben?" When he's in that mood to mess
I
fuck
do
with me
that.
and shit.
I grew up around a lot of. I went to all Mexican high school.
I know.
So
Yeah, that's
I'm
true.
familiar with the. You didn't grow up around black people, so that's fucking offensive,
Yes,
man.
I
You had one black friend,
No,
dude,
man.
and it was your dad's friend.
no, man.
Yeah, this dude had one black friend,
That
and
is
it was
so
your
not-
dad's friend.
No, man. Look, when I played, when I started playing in junior high, when I started playing different sports,
All right,
like
but isn't it funny? Earlier, he was talking about how he was a high school athlete.
Yeah, no, where it
But
started.
everything goes back to junior
No,
high
no,
and 8 years old.
junior high is when I started. I played all through high school. I played sports all through high school. But here's the thing.
We're
First of all,
gonna investigate that.
Listen,
but go ahead.
yeah.
Go
So
ahead.
believe it or not, I did play Pop Warner.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that was in 7th and 8th grade. That's when I started meeting. That's why at school at the junior high that I went to is when I started meeting more of the black kids in school because we were either playing football together, and then I started running track with them.
Let me ask you this. Sorry to cut you off. Let me ask you this.
And we started popping and breakdancing together, son. Oh, what? You ain't got none of them moves.
No.
You think did I learned that from Joe Jackson, Billy and James Brown, Tony and Adrian Williams,
Why are you?
Tommy and Kirk Edwards.
You know I don't believe this. Jackson Williams Brown. Those are all common black names.
Those were
and
the
you just
guys
made
that
that shit up.
No, those
you
are,
just made that
it's
shit
really
up.
weird.
Dude.
They all came in
They were all
brothers. They came in-
Sanchez, Gomez,
No, I didn't have a lot of those. In boxing, there was,
Fernando,
in boxing there was a lot.
Fernandez. I'm sorry, that's the
No,
last
in
name.
boxing there was a lot. There was a lot because
See.
a lot of the
I'm sorry. Mexicans are just hilarious.
Because
Dude.
look,
I'm
listen to the
sorry.
names. Okay, those are the dudes that I hung out with in junior high.
You know what my favorite Mexicans
They're
are
all-
to be?
they're all
I'm sorry.
brother.
Go ahead.
They're all listen. The brothers were actually brothers. The friends that I
Oh,
hung
they're-
out with,
they're
there was-
brothers.
it was really weird. They all came in twos.
Yeah.
There was always two brothers that I was friends with.
Yeah.
And then on the Mexican side, in boxing, it was guys like Pelon, Raton. Those are all the nicknames, dude. That
But why are you like? It's funny.
There
Like
was
Johnny,
Speedy,
Johnny just
there was-
admitted to being a coconut, but yet when he pronounces those names, you made it try to sound like you're extra fucking
because
Mexican.
I
Like
can
you're.
perform. I can't perform. I can pronounce
No.
properly when I need to.
You're
but I
right.
don't choose to. I don't choose to say. I don't tell people, hey man, where's that gig tonight? Oh, it's over in Los Feliz. I don't say that.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
All right, that's fair.
I don't go, hey man, I love living in Los Angeles.
So when you
Like,
go to a
I'm not-
Mexican restaurant, you don't.
The
put-
reason why I don't order food, I try a little bit, but I can't put too much on it, man, because if you start ordering with too much of an accent, they're gonna come back with you in full Spanish,
and then you're lost.
and then I'm done. They used to happen to me all the time.
Hola, yes, can I get a quesadilla? And then they start speaking Spanish like, oh, wait a minute, dude.
Yeah, that's exactly what I say. I'm like, oh, hold on, man, hold on. So I don't even do that
Yo,
anymore.
Renee. So Renee is super Mexican. So let me just say this. So when somebody,
Super Mexican.
so when somebody like, all right, I'm just asking you your opinion, Chris. You're half Mexican. He's half Mexican, half feather. And
That's right. I was like feather. Yeah.
Indian.
Yeah,
Was that
yeah.
racist for me to say that? Half feather.
Ask him.
Is that offensive?
Well, it's more inaccurate because I'm actually half, according to my DNA, half white, half native, I guess. But I think it's.
Oh,
native.
you have no Mexican in you at all?
No, I think it's native Mexican because
got it.
It's a whole story.
He just found out he was Mexican through one of those DNA tests.
Yeah, which was it? Was it 23andMe or Ancestry or
Ancestry.
Ancestry? Okay. Oh, that's interesting.
What, you never asked your parents? Papa, mama, what am I?
See what I mean? You see what he just did?
Papa, what am I?
Like we walk around going, mama, papa, caca, mama, papa, caca. Anyway, unbelievable.
Well, I still haven't met my dad, and my mom was white. So
Okay.
Okay.
I'm the only brown one in my family.
If you,
Oh,
if
so
you,
you're
yo,
native
if he would have
Mexican?
said his dad was black, I'd have been furious.
Why?
He was
Why?
like, my mom is white and I never met my dad. I'd have been pissed.
Oh, if his dad was,
I mean,
black.
he's brown.
Not
so
at
it's still
him.
close.
You wouldn't be- yeah.
No, but
So-
I mean, I would have thought that was a stereotype. Like, yeah, and I'm
So-
sorry to,
no,
you
no.
know.
So you're basically
we get deep on this show. So you don't have you never met your father, huh? Are you uncomfortable
no.
talking about it? We get real
No, I
on the
don't
best
care.
of everything, man.
No, I never met him, and he doesn't even know I exist.
Oh, mom's just dipped when she got pregnant.
Yeah, she got pregnant, and then she passed away when I was 9. So like, and I asked her what I was, but she never told me.
Oh,
So
okay.
this is why years later I'm like,
Oh,
I'm-
you're just
I'm
finding
learning.
out. Okay.
Oh, that's okay.
wow.
All right, so I'm an asshole.
No.
Okay, I'm an asshole.
By the
All
way,
right.
so if he's more of like the native and the native Mexican, so his native name is Geronimo. And I'm giving a look to the camera on that one. That's a great Geronimo.
Anyway, man.
All
So,
right.
what were we
Thanks
talking
for
about?
that.
You just rambled on. What the hell were we talking about?
Oh no, you were asking me about food and ordering, and then we.
Oh,
and
we were
then
talking
got-
about your culture.
And then you asked me because I was super Mexican.
Oh yeah, here's the thing. So,
Because
by
I
the
have
way,
a
can I-
jalapeno on my hat.
he has a jalapeno on his hat.
Oh my
So,
God, he has a jalapeno on his cap.
Look, he has a jalapeno on
with a baseball
with a
bat,
baseball bat,
swinging
Oh,
like
my-
Carlos Oscar.
Man, seems like some fucking Jeff Dunham shit. Like, you know what I mean?
San
Who
Antonio,
is that?
the San Antonio Missions minor league team.
But here's my question. Here's my question. No offense. So, Renee, hypothetically, so if he came in and to a Mexican restaurant and you started off like super Mexican-y, like with the big, I mean, I didn't mean like, but if you started off like with the Mexican with an accent, like
Yeah.
the Spanish, like you speak Spanish,
Sure.
and then they start speaking Spanish to you. and then you go, whoa, 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 whoa.
Yeah.
I don't speak Spanish.
I'm not fluent. Yeah.
Don't you think they'd be a little offended? And Johnny probably could have eaten some loogies that day.
No, well, usually when I walk into a restaurant, they'll hit me up with some Spanish immediately, and then I'll
Of course,
respond.
because you look like super Mexican.
So if they say hola,
like he
And
has
you-
a cape.
if I were to if I were
His
to see,
poncho would be his cape. Hola, I am super Mexican.
I don't think he looks that Mexican.
He looks very Mexican to me.
That's funny.
Yeah,
doesn't look-
dude.
he
He's
doesn't look-
fucking pavilion at Dodger Stadium right there, dude. Go ahead.
I get it too, though.
You do,
They always ask me in
Yeah,
Spanish.
in
and
Spanish,
I don't
see-
speak Spanish.
Yeah.
yeah, Chris,
and
we
he's
don't know
not-
what you are, man.
But he doesn't have that tip. He doesn't. He looks like he could be Lebanese or something.
Yeah, you do look like.
But let me tell you what happens.
Look.
Here's what used to. So I used to do that. I'll address that real quick.
Yeah.
So, and this would happen. This is not just in Mexican restaurants or taquerias or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Like sometimes there was some of the Latino women at the grocery stores would also greet me with, but they definitely would start off with, always starts off with, hola, ¿cómo estás? They'd say that, right? And then
Do you
I
say it
would-
back?
And I used to say, muy bien, gracias. And then they'd go,
Oh, that's your mistake
and then
right
they'd
there.
they'd go right into it. Oh, well, pero, and then I'd go, oh, I'm sorry, no, I'm not fluent. But now, guess what I do now?
What?
But I love their reaction to this.
What?
So now I don't bite anymore with any of that. So because I get myself in that awkward position. But here's the funny thing with the women. It's especially the women. So they do that, right? They go, hola, ¿cómo estás? And I go, oh, hi. Yeah, how are you? And then they always go, oh. And then they go back into English.
Uh-huh.
You know how much is behind that?
Oh, yeah.
It's
Oh.
He's one of those.
Yeah, coconut.
Coconut.
Yeah.
Pocho.
How do you say coconut in Spanish?
Pocho.
Pocho? Oh, shit.
It's pretty much pocho, dude.
Pocho.
Pocho
Yeah.
is like whitewash. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like it's worse. It's worse. Pocho's worse. You know.
Yeah, so, I mean, the worst thing you can be called, I think, when you're in, especially Black or Latino culture, is to be called a sellout. And,
Yeah,
what's unfortunate, I think that's something that's been mislabeled. Like, what is truly a sellout? Are you a sellout because you don't speak the language? You know, to me, having pride in who you are, no matter how that is,
Because we're only
exuded, is
products of our environment.
But the most important thing is to own who you are and be who you are 100%. Like, I know you're a proud Mexican, but you know what's interesting is you talk about a lot in your act now that people think you don't look Mexican. Mm-hmm. Did you? But obviously
more
there's-
now than before.
So
Because the dark got worse. So
So you when you were
when I was younger, I
you looked
feel like
more
I felt I
Mexican.
looked more. I felt
That's
I looked
fair.
more
That's
Mexican.
fair.
A lot more. People knew I was Mexican back in the day, 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
Yeah,
and
and
now not as much. You know,
And for-
and you know why? I don't mean to cut you off, but
Yeah.
one of the reasons is because there's so many more cultures here now. See, when I was
great
younger,
point. So
there
now
was hardly any Indians
it's like
and
Black,
hardly
Latino, white. That's it. Wasn't a lot of Middle
everybody
East.
knew what I was.
that makes
Now
sense.
we've got Middle Easterners, we have Indians, so now all of a sudden everybody else started coming around, and then other people would see I look like I
and if we really think about it, you know what would be interesting, Renee, to look up? Like, when was the interracial boom? Like, there's had to be a progression in interracial babies
80s
being
maybe?
born throughout the years.
I'd say it has to be
You know what I mean?
The 80s,
like
man,
there had to be a time where it was
90s.
just black were with black, white were white, Mexican. Like, at what point? Like, now everybody's fucking everybody. You know? I mean,
Yeah.
All right, we can cuss.
Yeah,
on
who
this.
gives a shit?
Yeah. So everybody's like being with everybody, and that's great.
Well, you know what?
So that I'm sure that changed the confusion of like knowing, because back in the day it was like, oh, you look at somebody a mile away, like he's Mexican, because you never saw a lot of mixed people. You know,
So my dad, I would ask my dad. We're talking 50s and 60s and all that.
most of the mixes that I did see growing up were either black and Asian, black Latino,
I have
and
a
black and
graph
white.
here. It looks like it started mid '60s, where just interracial marriages just started. Where it was like,
But when was
white-
the boom? There had to be like a jump For like, if you look at it from
It's gotta be the
1960s,
80s, man.
It's 60s and up. That's
Oh, okay.
oh, so it just started going up.
60s and up.
we'll
That
put
makes
this
sense.
on. We'll put this on the screen.
Could you? But you
Yeah.
know what? You know what? This is totally off subject, but I think about shit like this. Could you imagine, like in that time, like having an interracial couple having a baby, and then you have a racist fucking doctor, but you don't know your fucking doctor is racist.
Right.
That's scary in
Yeah.
itself to think like.
Oh, dude,
You know what I mean?
When my dad talks about the shit that he went through, back being Mexican in the 40s and 50s and shit like that, and then of course in the 60s, I just kind of wow, man, like I don't know how I would have handled that.
When you think about race, you don't. We think of unfair treatment and segregation and police brutality and all these things, but we don't even sometimes think of the basic things of there's certain situations where, as a human being, if you get shot and you're rushed to the hospital, what if that doctor?
Oh, you're talking about when it was.
What if that doctor hates black people?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
what
yeah.
kind of care are you going to get? It's interesting. Even to this day, my sister will only go to black doctors.
That makes sense, man.
But her reasoning is hysterical. She's like, I said, Renee, I go, Glass, why do you only go to black doctors? She's like, because they good. She's like, if they see the Sinai and they black, they had to be at the top of their class.
That's a good point.
It is a good point. Yeah, I used to do a joke about that.
That is
But-
interesting. I never really thought about that. Why wouldn't I go? I mean, Latino doctors, I never even really consider because it always seems like it's something. Not all of them, but they're usually in areas where I was just like,
Why are you making them seem like they're mechanic? Like, "Hey, may I help you? Are you sick?"
See, there he goes again.
Like what?
With the accent.
I'm sorry.
I mean, I can talk about black guys without going, yeah, man. So, come on in my office. You take a seat right there. There's a waiting room. And you going
why's your black guy Longhorn, Foghorn?
threw a little Southern in there. Well, because there's blacks in South Carolina too,
All your black characters are old as shit.
I know.
Skit, scat, do that, skit,
Skit and do that and skit that. That was this bit I used to do. I have since stopped doing it. There's no way I can get away with that.
Tell him the joke. Tell him the joke real quick.
Dude, you're gonna get people complaining about it.
No,
that's what we're doing. That's why we're doing
transparent.
it. It was the thing that my dad grew up with. My dad had more black friends in the 50s than he had Mexican friends. Okay.
He finally came clean. Go ahead.
Yeah, and then okay,
go
and then but anyway, I was like, the older black men had this coolness about them. They got something really hip and cool. So whenever they old black men always seem like they got something going on, even if they're standing in line.
What?
And they're always like, skit, scat, scoot and that, skit it, and do that, and skit it and that.
I love that bit, but it's so ridiculous.
It's a little ridiculous.
But he used to kill, and we'd always be dying. Alonzo Bowden loves that
And Jamie
joke, man.
Masada, that's his favorite. The
It is,
owner of the Laugh Factory is still his favorite bit of mine. Buddy,
It's so offensive and funny.
please, buddy, bring back the Skitskat guy, please, buddy. And you know who says that to me to this day?
Who?
Lowell Sanders. Every time I see
okay.
Lowell, he go, "Hey, what's up, man? Skitskat, skit and that, skit that and did that and did that." He doesn't really like that. He's like, "You got to
Anyway, so I mean, we're gonna talk about everything. We'll talk
I
about
think we
race
just
and
did.
things.
I think we did. We talked about everything.
I mean, we gotta-
for
we-
10, 12 episodes.
But we gotta, they gotta get to know us. And what I
Yeah.
was saying about, like, in all seriousness, when you brought that up, like, you've gotten that coconut thing, and I never have gotten the Oreo thing, but I know some people when they find out I'm Haitian, they go, "Oh, okay, all right,
Yeah.
all right, okay, that makes sense," because
It makes sense. That's always funny to me, though.
yeah,
It's-
but
it
people
makes
don't,
sense.
and people don't realize, and a lot of times it's because people don't think I grew up in the hood. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they don't think that, I grew up in that type of environment. And one of my partners told me, he goes, "It's the way that you sound."
Yeah.
Because
You sound like you grew up in the suburbs.
yeah, I'm pretty articulate. I went to school, and I think part of that came from because I got made fun of so much because of my parents
That
and their heavy accent, and everything.
You probably did everything
And
you
I was-
could to not have an accent.
Yeah, it's like I want to be, and I went through an identity crisis for a while because when you grow up in the hood and your family in inside your house is totally different from the neighborhood that you're in.
Yeah.
It's like you got to survive in this neighborhood and you got to make friends, and then kids are cruel, you know?
Yeah, man.
So when you're a kid and you can't really relate to anything, thank God I have friends who have parents that were open and welcoming. So I really assimilated to black culture because all my friends were black. So I learned about, you know, soul food and different type of things that my parents didn't. You know, my parents cooked Haitian food, and it just came to a point where I was getting made fun of so much that my mom, rest in peace, she was like, she just went and learned to make those type of things for me just so I can feel like I belonged with the rest of the kids. But didn't taste like
right, like the chicken and waffles or something like that.
Yeah, you know what I
mean. What would be traditional? What's a black, like American? I mean, we all know about like that, like chicken and waffles or things, something like that. But what are some? Because
but it goes beyond chicken and waffles. Like, people weren't like chicken and waffles. I think. Look up how long chicken and waffles been around. That's a fairly new thing. When I say new thing, maybe like in the last 40, 50 years would be my guess. But I didn't. When I grew up, my friends weren't eating chicken and waffles. They're eating shit,
like,
you know,
like what?
Collard greens.
So some of that southern,
you know, yams,
the
black-eyed peas on New Year's Eve.
That's
gumbo,
a good luck thing. Yeah, it's a good luck thing.
You know, chitlins. I had friends who ate chitlins.
So it's sort of like
it was
a little bit of the southern.
Oh yeah,
a lot of the black people that came.
Oh, absolutely.
Coming over.
Well, look at the history of America. Most black people came from the South because of slavery. Mm-hmm. So a lot of those traditions were passed down.
Yeah,
they were first introduced to Los Angeles in 1931.
Chicken and waffles. Yeah, but it wasn't a staple. Like I never went to my friends' house. I never, get some chicken and waffles. I think that's a very. I mean, for me
out here,
because I said we're much younger, but for me, like Roscoe's was really my introduction to chicken and waffles.
Me too.
The 70s, they regained popularity because of Roscoe's and a couple of restaurants.
Because I never heard that, dude, until I moved to LA.
Yeah, but you know, the point that I want to make too, and we'll address this because hopefully we do this podcast for a long, long time, is what is a sellout? You know, and to me is like, as long as you do everything that you can to uplift the journey of your people or the perception of your people and trying to make life not only better for black people, for humanity in general, but I'm black first and foremost. Well, I'm human first, and then I'm a black man.
Right.
And it's because of the state of America and things that's going wrong. It's, you know, I'm proud of the way I was raised, where I came from, but I'm Haitian American. You know, that's what I am. And I used to be ashamed of my Haitian roots because I got made fun of. And as I've gotten older, I've learned to embrace that. So I'm proud to be Haitian. I'm proud to be black. I represent that everywhere I go. You know, it's in my act. I talk about it. And I get along with everybody because at the end of the day, we're all humans and we got to find a way to celebrate each other's differences. And people don't have to be the same. They don't have to look the same, think the same, but we can still respect each other. And I live my life, and it's about respect. And I know you're the same way. It's just about respect at the end of the day.
And I'm third generation too, so
I'm first generation.
Yeah, you're first generation. Renee's first generation. I'm third. Chris doesn't know. But
he's the lost generation. We're gonna have to put in some. In post, before we post this, when Chris starts talking, play the saddest music possible while he's talking, so we can have our listeners crying while me and John here laughing. I didn't know my dad, and then my mom died, and they're like, oh shit, dude. Why did I bring it up?
But
hey, wait, let me full disclosure. I know I'm being an asshole right now, but you're talking to a guy who lost both his parents in a car accident, tragically. So that was the most painful thing I've ever gone through in my life. And to be able to even have a smile on my face and laugh and live a good life is testament to just knowing that life moves on and that I was blessed enough to have a lot of love and support around me. So in messing with Chris and making fun of him, I do understand the pain of loss. And but what do they say? Whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yeah.
And I believe it's made me stronger. And
excuse me.
You know, I'm excited about this podcast, man.
Yeah.
So, anything else you want to say to the people? Just tune in, you guys. Like, we're gonna have guests on. We'll have a lot of great guests.
Yep.
And talking about how they became great, asking them opinions on different topics, getting
Whether
to know
it's music
them,
or sports,
whatever. We'll have
or,
all different types of. This
different-
isn't about comedy. We'll have some dope
Yeah.
comedians on the show. We have some great comedians lined up,
Musicians.
musicians, because as comics, we're more than just what people think we are. You
Yeah.
know, we live life outside of being
just
on stage and
being funny,
and
yeah.
cracking jokes. Like we
Yeah.
love music and sports, and we go to games.
And you know
Anybody
I
who
love
knows
the
me,
dancing. You know I love the
anyway.
dancing.
Anybody who knows me knows Lakers, Dodgers, Raiders.
Oh, my.
All day, every day, till I die, till I die, mom.
Motherfucker.
Anyway, and you, Johnny, are you a sports fan?
Raiders #1.
That's what's up.
Raiders.
This year is painful, but go ahead.
It's all right. Let the mad scientist do his thing.
Yeah, we
and
got to
we'll
give
see
him
what
a chance,
happens.
man. I'm a
and-
season ticket holder, so that's why
Yeah, he's- he's-
I actually spend money, and I'm on the 50, by the way.
Oh, jeez. All right, and it's gonna be
Cl-
exciting.
club
we're gonna
level.
We're gonna be talking
Club
about.
level, 50-yard line.
What up, bro? Come on, man. What up, bro? All right, and we're gonna be. You wrap. You got it.
Yeah.
You wrapped it up, man.
Yeah,
That's it.
We're gonna talk about the best of everything. So I
Gonna be
hope you
fun.
guys tune in. We'll have a good time, and we're excited, man. So
Skit, scat, scoot at that.
I'm Ruben
Skit
Paul.
at-
This is Johnny
Johnny Sanchez.
Sanchez, and we out. We'll see you guys next time.
Oh shit! You and Ruben. This is fucking awesome. Butt ass naked in the middle of the movie theater.
Whoa!
Yep.
It's not real.
Hell no. You can laugh, white guy. You can still feel the heat. Somebody went, oh.
It was a fucking joke.
Thank you.
We had a
Loved
great time.
it. Best thing we've done in LA.
Yeah,
so far.
100%. Ruby Tuesday's off the hook.
I laugh so much I feel like I have a six-pack.
Ruby Tuesdays, y'all. Where are you?
You better get here.
Ruby
Let's do
Tuesday.
this.
Guess what night? Tuesday nights. I love you. I'll see you at the show.